I'm going to talk to you today about composition, but rather than getting into kind of the rules and the theories and all of that kind of stuff, I just want to talk about just in general what composition is, what do we mean by composition, and why is it so important to understand it? And for visual artists, I think it is the most important thing to not only just understand, but to master. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. As always, if you like my content and you'd like me to keep putting out more, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, you can subscribe by pushing on the subscribe button. And if you want to get notified every time I post a new video, you can click on the little bell. So what is composition? I guess that's the first thing I want to talk about here. And this is kind of targeted towards kind of more beginners in terms of understanding composition, but there's some really critical things here too that I think even for people who are fairly knowledgeable about composition, you might get some valuable insight out of this. So in a nutshell, the whole theory of composition is just the idea that when certain visual cues are presented to human beings, certain predictable responses will occur. And that has to do with hundreds of thousands of years of evolution of how our eyes and our mind have been wired together and what type of things we have been programmed to notice out there back when we were hunter-gatherers living on the savannah. So the simplest example of that is an arrow. If I were to paint an arrow on a wall or just draw it on a piece of paper, our eyes are going to follow the arrow. So our eyes follow directional shapes. That's one example of composition in action. Another really simple example is just marking an X. Wherever we mark an X or where two lines intersect, our eyes drawn to that. That's why X marks the spot on a pirate map. And that's why in the center of a telescope, you have the crosshairs of the vertical and the horizontal lines because our eyes are drawn to that. Now, those are just two very, very simple explanations of composition in action. There are a ton of other things that we can put into our paintings, whether it's gradations, whether it's edges, whether it's balance, whether it's contrast, whether it's harmony, whether it's unity. All of these things have to do with that idea that when we do certain things on the canvas or paper, the viewer's eye is going to react in a fairly predictable way. So the first thing we have to decide is, well, what is it we want the viewer to do? Well, typically what we want to do is we want to grab the viewer's attention and bring them into our painting. We also want to keep that attention. So we want to keep their eye moving around the painting, always coming back to the main area, which is our focal point or our center of interest. But we want them to engage in what I call a visual dance with the artwork. And if you do that, people find that very pleasurable, and they are more likely to then decide that they want to take that painting home with them. So if we understand composition, we can first of all go about kind of creating our painting. So arranging the shapes, colors, values, edges in a way that's going to create that pleasing visual dance. But even more importantly, if a painting is not working, then we can actually go in and find out why it's not working, what specifically is going on, and what we need to do to fix it. Now, that's how I see composition. And I find composition fascinating. I love composition. I love talking about composition. But unfortunately, it's been given a bad name because what's happened is over the course of time, there's been like a list of rules of these are things you shouldn't do. And that is understanding composition kind of at its most basic and really not understanding composition at all. So again, we've said that when we do certain things, it can cause a predictable reaction in the viewer's eye. Well, sometimes certain things can cause a predictable reaction that we don't want to have happen. So For example, one of the things that most people have probably heard is that you should never put your center of interest in the center of a painting. And that's an example of not fully understanding composition and actually missing out on the potential of what could be some pretty spectacular images. Because here's what really is the truth. If you put your center of interest in the center of the painting, there's two things that might cause. So one is it might cause a bullseye effect. And that is where we grab the viewer's attention, we draw them to the center of the painting, but then there's nothing visually exciting going on and they just leave. So we don't want that. The other thing is when you place your center of interest in the center of a painting, then it could end up splitting the painting in half, where it looks like there's one composition on one side and then another composition on the other side. It disrupts the unity of the painting. So if you think of composition just as a set of rules, then it is very boring, and it's also very limiting, where it just becomes then ticking off a checklist. But I'm sure you've also heard the saying that the best paintings are those that break the rules and get away with them. Or I think it was Picasso who said, like, learn the rules so that you can break them like a pro. And that's the whole idea of getting a fundamental understanding of composition, is understanding not what the rules are, but understanding the reason behind the rules, that it might cause this negative thing. And then actually doing that in your paintings, but just doing other things or taking care to make sure that it's not causing that negative impact. And the reason that kind of prompted me to kind of create this video is I have a ad that's on Facebook about composition, about my course on composition. And there's a picture of me, I'll put it up here, me sitting in front of 3 different paintings in my gallery when I had the gallery. And I've actually got tons and tons and tons of comments on that image and about the paintings, and just kind of over the top. People love the paintings, and I love the 3 paintings that are there too. Well, I got a comment from someone who said, oh yeah, like the painting in the bottom left where everything's in the center of the painting, no thanks. And I thought, okay, I'm going to engage this person in conversation because he's right. In the painting on the bottom left, the center of interest is in the center of the painting. Does that make it a bad painting? No. The only thing that makes a painting a bad painting or a good painting is, does it draw the viewer in? Does it engage them in a visual dance? And particularly in a way that they then want to actually possess the painting, particularly if you're doing paintings for sale like me. Well, that particular painting was a $4,000 piece. It sold immediately the very first time it was shown. We have sold a large number of limited edition prints of that piece. And every time it gets shown, or where I have a giclée of that piece displayed, it gets a lot of attention. And it does that in spite of the fact that it is breaking a rule that the center of interest is in the center. And so I reached out to the person, and I checked actually their Facebook profile. And this is actually a fairly accomplished artist, which again just made me realize how important it is to do this video, that composition is not about a bunch of rules. We do not gauge the effectiveness of a painting by going through a checklist and saying, does it tick this box, this box, this box? Oh, it breaks this rule here, therefore it's a bad painting. We evaluate the success of a painting by how it makes us feel, or as an artist, how it makes the viewers feel. And you can gauge that. Whether you're at a show and you see how people react to the work, the fact that a piece sells, the fact that multiple reproductions have sold, or how they engage with it on Facebook. And when I got back to the person, and I explained all this, that yes, it's breaking the rules. But again, the rule is not there because that's a bad thing. It's because these negative things could happen and they're not happening. And that, again, that when the work has been seen, it has done its job. It has reached out, engaged people, drawn them in, got the, oh my God expression. And so that is the ultimate test of whether a painting is good or not. So, but then what's really funny is he got back to me And he said, okay, yeah, I grant your point there, but I wouldn't use this image in the ad because of the fact that this has the center of interest in the center. And I thought, this is the whole conversation all over again, because it's like, okay, what is the purpose of a photo that we are going to put in an ad? It's actually to reach out, grab people's attention, and engage them. And so that particular ad with that image has resulted in sales of over 500 of the course on composition. So I have a course on color and composition that's generated over 500 sales of the course. It's also generated over 8,000 people signing up to the Tim Packer Art Academy newsletter. And so again, it's kind of like, has that been an effective image? It's like, hell yeah, it's sold a ton of courses and it has generated a huge number of people signing up to my newsletter. But this person was still saying, well, I wouldn't show it in the ad because of this. And it's like, no, the rules are only there for you if a piece is not working. Again, that ad is working spectacularly. That image is working spectacularly. So whether a painting in there breaks a rule or not is neither here nor there. So I mentioned composition. I'm going to get a little salesy again on you here. Just because I think composition and understanding composition is the most important thing that goes into becoming a successful artist and into creating impactful work. So as I mentioned, I have a course on color and composition on the Tim Packer Art Academy, and I am going to offer it for all of my YouTube subscribers, all of my YouTube followers for 50% off. So the course is regular $79. I will let all of you get the course for $39. And you can use the coupon code YouTuber. I'll put it up there exactly how to spell it, and I'll include the information in a link at the bottom. The reason I'm so hot to trot over this course is I really believe that for $39, which is what you'll get this course for at the 50% discount, it can have a dramatic improvement in the quality of your work. If you understand composition, every single painting that you do has the potential to be a winner. And a painting with a solid composition that is only kind of handled in a mediocre fashion, it can still be a successful painting. Whereas I don't care how good the brushwork is, how good the drawing is, how good anything else is. If you have a serious compositional problem with a piece, there's nothing you can do to actually make it successful without addressing that compositional thing, which often involves moving things around in the painting, which we don't want to get into once a painting is done or almost done. So again, I really, really strongly encourage you that if you are interested in creating the best work possible, take this color and composition. If you take the course and you think I didn't get any value out of it, you can email me and I'll gladly refund you your money. If you understand composition, you have the ability to self-critique your own work to make sure that nothing goes out unless it's a solid composition. And it also allows you, when you see images that have that, oh my God, impact on you, where it takes your breath away, you're able to look at it with a compositional eye and see the things that the artist has done to make that visual dance occur. And then you know that, okay, I can actually start incorporating that into my work. So I hope you have found this helpful. But again, composition, it is not just about a bunch of rules. It's about understanding the way that the human eye and brain interacts with visual cues. The rules are just like a shortcut cheat sheet for those who don't really want to get involved in understanding it. So if you are serious about reaching your ultimate potential as an artist, I really, really encourage you to master composition. It is going to have the most impact on your work compared to anything else you can do. Yes, it's important to master drawing. Yes, it's important to master brushwork, all of the other skills, but none of that is going to mean anything if you are composing your work in a way that has serious flaws. And if you're gonna master composition, you don't just want to learn the rules. The rules are the what. What you want to understand is the why. What is the reasoning behind that rule? And then, as Picasso said, you'll be able to break the rules like a pro. And I totally believe that those paintings that break the rules yet are successful are the ones that really stand out.